Okay, hi everyone. Today is December 26th, the fourth
Hello.
Friday, day after Christmas, and we have a few nerds who will not stop even during the holiday season. Um, so that's nice. We've got enough people here to be an interesting meeting. Um, First thing I want to announce is, one announcement, and then we'll get into some research topics. The announcement is about the Cosmic Discovery Conference. Let's go to the website and take a look at it. So if you go to Cosmobiology, there's several names for the website. One is cosmobiology.org, and then click on for more details. So it's April 24th to 26th in Nashville, Tennessee. Everything's up here. We have the speakers, presentations. The schedule is now up here. And also, an email was sent out to people that have been attending these meetings, but not everybody seems to be receiving those emails. Um, that through the end of this, well, yeah, for another few days, it might get extended. I'm not sure. There's $100 off the registration. Plus, for those of you coming to these meetings, you get an extra $50 off. There's a code you can enter, and the code, I believe, is first 50. Did anybody receive those emails? I think it's when you go to register that there's a place to enter a code. You type in first. I'll type it in the. Pretty sure I'm remembering this correctly. Want to be here. Let me get rid of this. Yeah, first 50 in capital letters. It's to the first 50 people that register after this announcement. So, yeah, it's all coming together, very exciting. And what we're here to do is to help you with any questions, any research projects. Blake has been sending me emails. He's been pushing forward on this research on criminals. I guess it's specifically murderers.
Who?
Is that right, Blake? Um, and he's building
Yeah,
yeah, building a
very bad
model.
serial
Yeah.
killers. They're all rapists. Most of them are serial rapists.
Oh, they're
Oh,
rapists. So that's
They're all, yeah, they're the worst of the worst.
yeah, that's about as bad as you can get. Um, so from a research standpoint, that immediately sounds good to me um, because the reason I like what he's doing when I hear he's doing specifically rapists is it's less variability. The more
Hmm.
specific the group that you study, the better.
I do
So
have some
why is
concerns
it
that
if
if I go to just people that are serial murderers, that I might lose some of the signal.
yeah, I mean murderers might be different than rapists. So the more specific, like if you're studying cancer, if you study specifically, throat cancer or whatever, that's better than a broad area. Well, if a specific area is because there's less variability, there's always the possibility that if your topic is broad, you're
Hmm.
doing all forms of cancer, you're
Yeah.
doing all athletes, or you're doing all
if
football
you
players.
if you meet over the screen, that's right. Rapist can be. I can research on, but it's scary to interview if you see them on face to face. Not, but I feel secure interviewing for interviewing rapists over the internet. That's what I can say. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Return.
yeah. Well,
An
these
astrologer
are
did end up talking to one of these guys, and
Okay.
No, it's
yeah,
big data.
then
It's
she
big, big,
realized
big,
who she
big
was
number
talking
of
to
people. It's
and
not
ran.
interviewing. It's not. It's not like interviewing people, Iona. It's data.
Yeah.
I'd like.
Data.
I'd like to.
Okay.
I'd like to add something to what Santino said. A very good
Okay.
example, also, is something we discussed together about economics, and I was very I wouldn't say stupid, but not well. It was
Yes.
not a good idea. I studied for many, many, many months the 500 Standard and Poor 500. It's too large. It's a moving target. It's exactly what you said. It's not specific.
Yeah.
So I thought your idea to study gold was a lot better.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
the more specific your research group is, your as we call it experimental group, the better because it's for obvious reasons. There's more likely a specific indicator of a specific disease. I mean, even biochemically, or whatever how you
yeah.
want to look at it, it's better. So if it's better to have a very specific group, like rapists as opposed to
Hmm.
criminals in general, why is it that we do not always study specific groups if it's better?
But
Getting
uh,
data is work.
What's that,
what?
Blake?
Getting data together is work.
Exactly. Exactly. You're
Exactly,
right.
because if you
Oh,
do a specific group, you're going to
that's
have less data. So it's
Exactly.
better to have a lot of data, and
that
it's better
is
to have little variability in your data, everything the same. You cannot get both. They
Like I started
contradict
with
each other.
5, and then I tried to do it on 10, and that didn't work. So then I set my hypothesis when I had 10 of them and checked another 16 after that. And I got a pretty good p-value. And now I'm just using all 26 of them for exploring.
Right. So let's make some notes of what Blake is doing. This is very exciting. So it's exciting because it's a lot of work to do research, and not a lot of people take the time and effort. When you actually do it,
but
there's all these obstacles you have to jump
I'm
over.
sorry. Can I if you choose some topic of the criminal that like the target of the I'm sorry the criminals of the church like uh family fraud money exchanging money stealing money like not robbery but someone like dealing gamble for the insurance between the family within the family. That's what I wanted to research on for as the
Like
criminal
fraud? Are you
too.
thinking of fraud?
What?
Are you thinking of fraud, where you steal money illegally from
W-
unsuspecting people?
uh, unsuspecting people. I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
He
Are you
said
thinking
he
of
said fraud,
Yeah.
fraudulent activity.
Yes. Within the family. Non
Oh,
relatives. What I
very
say.
so it's so specific that you're going to have a big trouble to find some sufficient amount of cases that, as Santino said.
I've got a fraud person from a long time ago.
So hold on, let me ask Iona.
Do I have
Do
Yeah.
you? Let me ask Iona a question. Do you know where you can find data of people who are stealing money? Can you?
That's yes. I currently I cannot. I have to. I'm asking. I'm sorry. I'm asking. To the police department, and I can see, but I can see the letters like someone that what the relatives write relatives write with Akashic records like Akashi. What do you say? With the signatures. I know what you are talking about. Wow, I'm sorry. I think you know what I'm talking about. Like letters, the with signature of the that's what we say. Like the letter
Iona,
says,
Iona,
yeah.
may I interrupt? You're going to be you're gonna go nowhere asking to police. It's private, so they won't help you.
Yeah. But
I tried with accident. I made a research like Santino also made the same research, but similar research, and I tried a lot to get some official data. I even knew an astrologer who was working for. I already said that he was working for Quebec official department of cars, and he said, "I lose my job if I help you."
what? I could catch your last sentence. I'm sorry.
I said, this astrologer who was a mathematician, statistician, working for Quebec official department of car. I don't remember the name exactly. And I asked him, could you help me giving me some data of accident? He said, if I do that, I would lose take the risk of losing my job. It's private.
Yes.
So it's very hard. Just to show how it's hard to gather some data. It's very hard.
Yes.
And if you want a big number, like in accidents, Santino wanted, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Santino, you wanted timed births. So he was very hardly found under 100. If you accept to do a model without birth time, you lose a lot. But I came to 1,000. So depending if you are ready to sacrifice the birth time, it's gonna be a lot easier to get a big amount of data, but you lose in precision. Maybe Santino, you can explain better than me.
Yeah. So I made some comments here that these are issues in research. These are standard issues with any kind of statistical, quantitative research. Number one, this is not necessarily in the order of importance, but just three things. Number one, how much variability is there within the experimental group? That's fancy terminology for saying how specific is the thing that you're studying. Like Gauquelin studied athletes. That is a huge category. Like there's so many kinds of athletes. If you study specifically basketball players, that's better. You're more likely to find something. If you study, a certain position on the basketball team, that's even better. The more specific, the more hopeful it is, the more likely you're to find something. The second thing that's important is the size of the experimental group. The more cases you have, the easier it is to find something.
Yes, the like 20.
Hold on. Let me finish the 3 points. So, okay. Third point is what we often call measurement error. Measurement error means whatever data you're collecting, how precisely did you measure it? Like if you measure the height of people, usually that's in the Western world, that's to an inch or a millimeter. Hold on, let me finish. And then in the case of astrology, the best case, the least measurement error, is birth times from a birth certificate or birth record, and you don't have more than expected number of people born on the hour or the half hour. Mm-hmm. So what happens when you collect data, especially in certain countries during certain time periods, in the hospital, they round off the time to the half hour sometimes. So you get a tremendous number of people born on the hour and half hour. Obviously, that's just the way they recorded it. That means there's more measurement error than if you're collecting data and you're seeing them all on the minute. And also we have information. For example, there's one thing I really love about the American military, that babies born on American military bases have their time to the minute. They're very precise and exacting about it. And also, the younger the person is, the more likely it is to be timed to the minute. And in certain hospitals, they're very, very careful. So these are three issues in research.
About your point two, just very shortly, about your number two, I'd like to make an addendum.
Yeah.
For me, it's critical. It's very, very important that you keep a part of your data to replicate, to make a replication, or
Replicate or that.
to validate with a replication. So it's very important in advance to save
Ah,
data. I didn't do it many times and I regret it. And I think you had the same problem. Now I'm very, very cautious about that. What do you think about that?
that is that the experimental group is that you place in respective or something to compare with. Is that the
No,
experimental
no, no, no,
group?
no, no. No,
No.
it's the group that you compare with is not to be confounded with the replication group. You've got the
Oh.
sample group of your experiment and you generate another group
Okay. Okay.
that you call a control group that gives you the probability against which you're fighting to find something. So this control group could be real persons, a real
Yeah.
group, or generated like idealized imaginary group. I don't with sample techniques, shuffling techniques. But
Shuffling.
the replicate shuffling. Yeah, you shuffle.
Shuffling.
Yeah, but so I don't speak about the control group, which is normal. I mean, all the
Right.
time.
Let me review this.
But the
We're
replic,
bringing up,
you explain better than me.
yeah,
So
the control group is a fourth issue. I listed three things. There's many, many, many
Okay.
things. Control group is a fourth issue. So these are four separate things. Now, what Vincent was saying about size of the experimental group is this is something that I feel very, very strongly about. You have to distinguish between building a model and testing a model.
yes,
Model just means
Okay.
your formula. It just means what your astrological theory is. So when like what Blake did, he wanted to see what was in the chart of rapists. So he took only five
Yeah.
and he looked to see if the things that he thought might be in their charts were in their charts. This is an excellent way to build a model. Sometimes people say you need 30 charts or 40 charts to do research. That's for testing a model. For building a model, it can vary tremendously on how you're building it. So, building a model is what astrologers always do. They're always looking at charts and coming up with an idea of what's in them. The problem with what astrologers do is they don't write down a summary of what they saw. They just
Yeah.
remember their clients. They're not documenting exactly what they found. If you make your observations and you document it, and you document like how many of those five people had this aspect or planet in a house or whatever, you see what consistency there is. Then he took five more to build the model. After you feel like your formula is working really well, then you take a a new group of people, and you apply your formula and see if it works. So you build a model and you test the model. So you don't have to build a model. If you
Build
already
them.
know, you may already
Yeah.
have a model in your head that you're sure works. You may be
Okay.
certain that inventors have planets in Aquarius or whatever. You
hmm
may already have a model. Then you can go right to testing it. But building a model and testing a model are very different,
Yeah, but
and they have
what?
hold on, and they have very different rules for how you evaluate how well they're doing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what exactly you do with the testing modeling, interviewing people,
You,
No, no,
interviewing
no.
the.
Testing means
he's doing the same thing. You do the same thing. You replicate.
testing means
You do it
that
again.
what testing
Oh,
means is that you specify exactly what you think is in the charts.
Yes.
So if
oh,
if I'm studying rapists, I might have a hypothesis, a
Yes.
theory that people who are rapists have planets are more likely to have Sun, Moon, and Mars in the eighth house, or they're more likely to have Sun square Mars with a 3-degree orb. When you test a model, you specify exactly what you expect to be in the charts. And there's something we
Okay.
call a strict hypothesis test.
Yeah.
A strict hypothesis test,
Yes.
I'm going to just type this down. Strict hypothesis test is the most rigorous way to test a model. In a strict hypothesis test, you have nothing that's unclear, nothing that's ambiguous. You specify exactly what orbs you have, or this, you give the same strength no matter what the orb is. Everything is crystal clear. It's like perfectly clear. It can be programmed into a computer, and then you
Yes.
see if those people have that.
Yeah.
When
I'd
you
like to add
build a
some.
model, you don't
Yeah.
specify exactly what's in there because
Yeah.
you want to discover what's in there.
Exactly. Yes. That's very clear. Thank you.
Yeah, you want to
I'd like to.
distinguish
Okay.
between, or do you want to discover something or do you want to validate what you believe is true?
Mhm.
And you can be
I
somewhere in between. You may have a few hunches, but be pretty open, or you might be almost certain, but not completely. So it's like a spectrum from being very open to being certain you want to test for a certain thing.
I'd like to add something
yeah.
to share. To share. Oh, Christopher wanted to talk before me. Okay,
Yeah.
Christopher, go ahead. Excuse me.
Well, I had a couple of other things you could add under sample size.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
really kind of related. One is that small samples are going to be subject to more variability,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and large samples are going to tend to have
Mm.
more statistical power.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going for that too, Christopher. We had a
Ah.
connection. I wanted to say
We're
that
psychically linked.
in a
But
funny
I
way, metaphorical way. Uh,
metaphoric
every
way.
metaphorical
Yeah.
image way.
Yeah.
As astrologers here, we are both researchers with a hat, and we're also practitioners with the another hat.
Yes. Yes.
As a practitioner, synchronicity is my friend. I'm very happy when I have a client and I see things with my rules, and then boom, synchronicity. We have something incredible that happens that makes a coincidence. So this is part of our art.
Yes.
But as a researcher, because of what Christopher said, synchronicity is our worst enemy. When I do research, I fight against synchronicity that produces uh, artifact, random artifact. And the lesser the sample size, the more prone we are to synchronicity mistakes. Because synchronicity has nothing to do with astrological theory that we are
It depends
studying and
on.
building.
Yeah. It
That's
depends
very
on what you
important. But,
believe.
so it's very ambiguous because I love synchronicity in my
Yes.
life, in my ordinary life, in my counseling with clients, but I hate it when I do research.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what
I know what he's talking about.
research is.
You understand, Blake, what I said?
I understand completely. Like, you know what's in the chart, and then you look and you find it. But if you've got 50 charts, you're not going to find that in 50 charts.
Yes. So being lucky is unlucky in research.
There's a
No,
similar,
you have to read the chart, and you have to interpret the chart. That's what Blake was saying. I thought. Wasn't that?
You don't interpret charts when you
It's
do
like being
research.
psychic. You're psychic enough to know what's going to be in the chart. It sounds perfectly theoretical, and then you find it
Yeah,
in the chart. But when you've got 50 charts, you cannot apply the same formula to all of them. It's not there.
that's it.
Ah,
That's it. And that's another
if
way
you
to say
collect
it.
them.
Yes, that's it.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh
Hmm.
man,
Yeah.
I'm just
I'd like
sorry.
to add just a very technical note to what I suggested you add for number 2. This is just in case someone 100 years from now watches the video and wants it
What
crystal
do we
clear.
do?
When I'm talking about more variability or statistical power, I'm
Yeah.
referring to what we call the standard error.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
which if you were doing a test for the mean,
yeah.
then in the distribution for all possible sample means, the standard error would be standard deviation divided by
Yes,
square
yes,
root of sample size.
yeah.
That
Hmm.
that I
Yes, I know what that is. Yeah,
Oh, that's good. That's great.
yes,
so that brings me to something that I've been wondering a
yes.
lot about, which is I don't think that the standard distribution is necessarily the best for astrology, especially because we have
Standard
such.
distribution is different from standard deviation. Is that standard
Hold on,
Yeah,
distribution?
please let Blake finish what he's saying.
Sorry.
Blake,
Yeah,
what are you saying?
I'm sorry.
Blake, no, Benjamin, I think, was
Or
talking.
Benjamin, whoever was speaking,
Benjamin,
Yeah.
could you?
would you explain
So
more what you mean by
yeah,
standard? Okay.
so we see, if we see like one planet in one house, that's one thing. But as
Um,
astrologers, we have like the rule of three, where if there are three planets in the same house, and
yeah.
maybe that's not the best example, because that's a conjunction. But if we have three things that indicate the same thing, maybe it's a house placement, maybe it's an aspect. But if they all point to the same thing, that's like exponentially more powerful than just those individuals.
Sure.
It's not like one plus one plus one equals
No,
a
you're right.
likelihood of
That's,
three. It's one
yeah,
plus one plus one
sure.
equals
Yeah.
nine. Um, and obviously, and so the standard distribution is it's good for like coin tosses, but we have such strong outliers in astrology,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
also the just from a theoretical standpoint, um, the standard distribution is what everybody uses, but I think it and Santino, you've got the statistical background um, more than me, definitely a lot more than me. And I think Christopher also has a lot of that.
Yeah.
Um, I think I keep on coming back to fat tail distributions, which are like more emphasizing the outliers
Mm-hmm.
than what is typically used, and especially um, there's this one um, that it's actually related to how if you have like a flashlight and if you have like a light bulb and you have a wall, um, and you look at the wall, how bright is it at each point on that wall? What's the distribution of the light intensity? And I know that I'm going into a little bit of the weeds, but
Mhm.
basically, if I have a light bulb and it's 4 feet in front of a wall, right in front of the light bulb, it's 4 feet away. But if I go, to the side, it's 7 feet or 9 feet or whatsoever. How bright is it at each point? And there's a probability distribution called the Cauchy distribution, um,
Oh, okay.
which because of that, because it directly relates to optics, and for a bunch of other reasons that I can't remember right now, um, seems a lot more intuitive as a default assumption for astrological research. And there's this guy, Nassim Nicholas Taleb. He wrote Black
Oh, yeah,
Swan, um,
yeah,
and he was written like textbooks upon textbooks on this, and like the guy's an absolute genius.
yeah. He is.
Um, and And he's all about, hey, all these things that people do, they're making all these mistakes because they're using the wrong distribution. They're making assumptions based on, oh, we assume that it's the normal distribution, but that's not what they see. So I
So
think that if we have a way in our software to sort of run the data through other distributions at the same time automatically, because it's a lot of hard work in figuring out what, then that would be a useful thing.
yeah, so when you said standard distribution, are you're referring to the standard normal distribution?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
I
yeah,
got it.
or like t-test sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Fisher's exact, I mean, is also not, I'm going way over my, I've gone beyond where I'm able to talk intelligently, so I'm going to stop now. I do that a
I
lot.
like Fisher's exact.
Yeah, I don't, I, I don't know if it has the same problems as the normal distribution. I haven't looked into that, but
Yeah, Fisher's exact doesn't use a distribution. It just calculates exact probability by looking at all possibilities given certain conditions, and then finds the exact probability of getting what you actually observed. Uh,
yeah,
so, I mean, that's kind of a nice feature that's distributionless, but I tend to agree with you. I'm not familiar with Cauchy's distribution, but I certainly know Cauchy. Uh,
Yeah. Let
and
me
it's
catch, let me interrupt for a second just to
sure,
catch
sure.
everybody up with what we're talking about. When you collect data, there's what we call a distribution. Like here's some examples of distributions. If you're looking at how many people have Sun square Mars, it might be a distribution that is a very normal curve where it peaks and then larger orbs and it goes out of orb. Or it might be that a lot of people end up here or here. There's all kinds of distributions. You know what we call bimodal distributions. How is, what does the data look like when you count up how many people have something and who has it stronger? You get different kinds of distributions. Some statistical tests assume that the data has some particular distribution, some don't. So there's something called Fisher's exact test, and what Christopher is saying is that it does not, it works no matter what the distribution is. But if the data has a particular distribution, and you use a statistical test that assumes a different distribution, it doesn't work so well. So statistics is not some magical thing, and you have to understand what the limits are and what it's appropriate for. So distribution of data can be an important issue in research.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's actually one thing I've thought about before. There are certain tests that we usually fall back upon, like tests for a mean, tests to see if two categorical variables are independent, doing a chi-square test with the chi-square distribution. But it's, we tend to fall back on these familiar tests in statistics. And I have sometimes wondered, as the point that you were bringing up, that there might be situations in astrology to which other distributions would apply better. In some things, like if you're doing a test for a mean, let's say you're taking a sample and you want to test to see if the mean of that sample is different from what you think it ought to be. It actually doesn't matter how the data in that particular distribution is, because what you're looking at is what we call the distribution of all possible sample means of for the same size as the sample you took. And it's the distribution of all possible sample means, which then tends to be normally distributed.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to add
But the
something.
actual sample you took could be distributed any which way.
Mhm. I'd like to add something
Yeah.
to see. Benjamin spoke about the Cauchy distribution, and it's very fascinating for a mathematician because it's very, very special. As you said, it emphasizes outliers. Very often, you don't have any mean, any variance. Actually, I'd say that distribution would be a perfect tool for Jeffrey Dean and his skeptic team to destroy our intuitive belief in ordinary statistics. For what I'm not familiar, but what I read is a bit, I would say, depressing. I wouldn't tend to use it to do research, even if it's fascinating. I think it's more of a tool to be extremely critic of our intuition about statistics, and it's kind of a tool of destruction. Maybe the reason why it fascinates. This is what I understood for what I read during the 5 last minutes, because I'm not very familiar. I think Christopher was a lot better mathematician than me. Said he was not familiar neither with the Cauchy distribution, isn't it,
Yeah.
Christopher?
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with that. I was just looking it up on
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence. It
That's what
says,
I've done. That's what I've done, and it's a bit. I would be reluctant to use it
yeah, it
because
says it's famous in
it's more.
statistics as a pathological example
Yeah.
because
I,
many of the tools that work for normal distributions break down here.
yeah.
And it has
Mm-hmm.
an undefined heavy tails, an undefined mean, and undefined variance.
Heavy
Whoa.
tails, like emphasizing outliers, as Benjamin said. But how useful is it in research?
I mean, my thought with in terms of usefulness is that we have a problem where we're having issues getting statistically satisfying results based on astrology.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole time we've been using the normal distribution as an assumption. Maybe and you can do stuff with the Cauchy distribution or with things that are close to it. You know, that's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nicholas Nass, and like he's made hundreds of millions of dollars doing that. I mean, the guy predicted the '08 crash using that sort of math, and now all of the quants use it.
Who was done
Who?
that? Nicholas?
Nicholas Nassim Taleb,
Oh,
um, Nassim Taleb, yeah, Nassim
okay.
Nicholas Taleb, Taleb. He wrote the book Black Swan, and he wrote a book called. Here, I'm just going to
Mm-hmm.
put his name in the chat. Um,
Mm-hmm.
He's fascinating. He's like a radical statistician. I mean, he's got some very radical
mhm,
ideas, but he's
definite.
brilliant. He's a genius, and he challenges a lot of our
Mm-hmm.
understanding of research methodology. Very fascinating.
Yeah. And my first thought is that, hey, we're astrologers. We're not locked into the set way of doing things that a lot of mainstream scientists are. So what if we use these, frankly, cutting edge, maybe not cutting edge because they were all invented in like the 1800s or something, but we use the really advanced statistical techniques and we if we use those to
Yeah.
um, I mean, that could be
Look-
giving, but going back
Yeah. Can I address? I want to address something
yeah,
about that. There's a long history to dealing with this problem. And it's a huge problem. For example, suppose you want to see if what the effect of a rising sign is. Like you want to see what the effect of Taurus and Gemini rising is. The distribution of rising signs is incredibly complex. It's unbelievably complex. And every study of rising signs has a different distribution. Because if you're in the northern hemisphere, more people have Virgo and Libra rising
Mm-hmm.
than Pisces and Aries. And the farther north you are away from the equator, the bigger the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So most of your people are in Europe. There's a huge difference because Europe has a very high latitude, about the same as Canada. And, if you're doing a study in Texas or somewhere in southern United States, the distribution's not as different. So it depends on where the people are born. When I first started studying astrology a long, long time ago, and I was doing charts of people, I was amazed at how many had Virgo and Libra rising.
Hmm.
And I started developing theories. I mean, I was just a beginner
Yeah.
on on
You were
why the people I was consulting had Virgo and Libra.
you didn't know control group at that time, because if you use a control group in the area where you do your research, your profession.
I know about control groups, but
Yeah, at that time
I'm
you
not a
you
researcher. I'm just learning astrology and just
yeah,
looking
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah, yeah,
charts.
yeah. I understand.
I mean,
Yeah,
I took all that stuff in college, but I'm just doing charts. I'm just a beginner. I'm not like
yeah,
a
yeah,
hardcore researcher yet. I'm just
yeah,
doing charts. And I'm saying, oh my gosh, out of the first 20 charts, like so many, nobody,
yeah.
I have Aries rising, nobody else does. Well, that's because I was doing charts of people in the northern hemisphere. Most
Sure.
of them were born in the northern part of the United States. So these are the kinds of problems that if you don't realize that the data is not distributed the way you think it is. Now it gets more complicated. Um, if people are born naturally, they tend to be born between about 4 and 5 a.m. It's just a biological rhythm. And
Hmm.
there are more people born in those hours. That means more people are going to have the sun in the first and second houses than other houses. Now, if people are born by caesarian section or other um, medical procedures, they're typically born during office hours. There's actually a slight dip sometimes during lunchtime.
Hmm.
So, and it tails off dramatically. So most people have sun above the horizon. I think it's parts of Brazil, 70% of people are born through an intervention. So if you're doing charts of people born in those parts of Brazil, the vast
Hmm.
majority are going to have the sun in the first six houses and a huge number in the ninth and tenth houses, in the middle of the day. So the distribution of things in astrology is extremely complicated. And then you have aspects that change at different times because of the retrograde and everything. More people are in most countries are born in the spring than in autumn. That changes it, not only with the sun sign, but whatever configurations are happening. And then this is a funny one. More people are born 9 months after a holiday than other times.
Hmm. Sure. Hmm.
That's because mom and dad aren't at work and they're making babies. But there's a peak 9 months after Christmas. So there are all of these factors that change the distribution. So when you're studying something and you're thinking, oh, these Taurus people are bankers or whatever, it might be that they were born naturally and they're more born in the spring and whatever. And, and then you have the complication of psychic ability, what you draw to yourself, synchronicity. These we call extraneous variables, variables that have nothing to do with what you're studying. And in medicine, they have a really terrible extraneous variable as well, just like we astrologers have problems with synchronicity. And it's the placebo effect. The
Sure.
placebo effect is huge. If you tell somebody that this is going to cure their headache, guess what? It cures their headache. They've done research that shows, this is really funny, that if the doctor is good looking and and especially if they're of the opposite sex, the therapy works better.
Yeah,
They
we got
have,
something, Santino,
yeah,
just a moment. We got something similar in astrology, which is the cold reading and Barnum effect.
yeah.
That is a
Mhm.
big enemy for researcher.
So when you do research, you have the problem of all of these extraneous variables. Um, you can be cold reading the person and not even knowing you're doing it. You're picking up cues of whether they're sitting straight, whether they're slouching. I mean, you may be picking up the smell of pheromones. I mean, who knows how much
Exactly.
information you're
Yeah,
taking in unconsciously. Um,
exactly.
you have psychic ability, you have synchronicity, you have all these distributions. With this huge mess of so many things, back 40
Yeah,
years
yes,
ago, when
yes,
I was started doing serious research, I talked to
yes,
the other few researchers, we felt really frustrated because it's you have to have such a good control group.
yes. I thought when while I grew up, I thought I was Virgo, but later the registration it was issued that my biodata was issued that my birthday was different 1 hour I'm sorry 1 month earlier or the one sign different earlier. I grew up being told that I was born in August 23rd, but later juristically it was disclosed that I was born in August 11. So
Whoa.
that was I was I was legal.
Excuse me, I do my best to understand the connection with the conversation. Let me try
I'm
something.
sorry.
Are you no no? Are you telling this story to exemplify what we said about Barnum effect? So during the time you had the wrong data, you thought your chart was good
Oh, okay.
because of Barnum effect. Is that what you mean in your story?
No. I was talking the placebo effect.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yes.
Barnum effect is a kind of placebo
Right.
effect.
So this is I'm glad you clarified what her point was, Vincent, because what you're talking about, Iona, is what we call measurement error. It's yet a
Okay.
different problem.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
not
that's
similar to the placebo effect. That's a different
yeah.
kind of problem. You're
Yeah.
talking about measurement error. Measurement error is where you collect your data, but your
Yeah.
data is not completely accurate.
Yes.
But
So,
Santino, I think she meant also that she was a victim of placebo effect or Barnum effect
Yeah.
because all that time
oh,
she
Yes.
believed she
Yeah.
has a good
oh, you
chart.
believed it. It made sense to you.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
I understood.
Oh, I missed that
Thank
part
you.
of it. Yeah. So, that is a good example of um, something similar to the placebo effect. You believe
Yes.
something, so it becomes true.
Yes. Yes. That's
Yeah, I see.
yes,
I missed
that's
that. Thank
true.
you, Vincent.
But I didn't say I was Virgo.
Mhm.
But what? How did you know that I was Virgo?
Yeah, thank
That's
you, thank you.
different. Yeah.
It's possible I'd like to come back to something that's been said about
Yeah.
15 minutes ago by Benjamin. It's only a few seconds. If you
Yeah.
talk about this famous rule of three repeated message 3 times that
Yeah.
we attribute to Cunningham, Donna Cunningham. That's the rule of Cunningham rule. So one
Coming
is
out.
so Donna Cunningham. So
Yeah.
this is what you said. You said when you got a repeated message 3 times, it's exponentially safer. Is that what you meant, more or less,
Yeah, and
Benjamin?
that goes way.
I'd like to comment on it because it's a very, very, very complex problem. I worked on that 15 years. Okay, let's make
Yeah.
it simple first. If you
Are
find
you asking me or
no,
Benjamin?
I'm talking to Benjamin. I changed
Okay.
subject. I want to come back to something he said about 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
So that repeated message 3 times, it's only approximate. It's a lot more complex.
Yeah.
It depends on the corpus of words available for you in your astrological corpus. Let me give an example. If I find in your chart, Benjamin, 3 messages of ambition, let's say you are Mars Leo, a Jupiter conjunct MC, and you understand what I mean,
Yeah.
3 times. this is not meaningful because there are many hundreds of ambition. The signature, the full signature of ambition is tremendously big. It's the biggest in astrology. I studied that.
Yeah.
I do a lot of astrolinguistics.
Hmm.
But if I find in your chart three significator of compassion, this would be very significant because compassion is a lot rarer in the corpus. It's harder to get three times compassion than getting three times ambition.
Yeah.
So there's a way to take that into account. And I worked on that with the corpus. And finally, there's a way to measure how many repeated messages for each word would be significant and give them a score
Hmm.
based on probability, like binomial, etc. So
Hmm.
that's not simple.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Oh yeah, and I just said rule of three as a shorthand for,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
multiple things cause it to be
yeah,
more.
yeah,
And I was thinking, I think it goes back to even Ezra, the astrologer in like the 12th century, who said like, only you. It's only true if there are like three witnesses, meaning like three astrological indicators. So it goes
mm.
that idea goes back
But
really
actually, three would
far.
be too low for certain words.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the words, and this is just reassociation. Um, I'm sure you're aware of it, but Jandro had a like astrological something with a whole list of words that um, I think it was
Yeah,
like the self-reading
I know, but
horoscope.
I went a
Seemed,
lot further than that.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah,
Well,
because I'm have the chance to live now, and he lived before.
yeah,
He was a genius, but it's a long time ago.
yeah.
So Blake, you had your hand up. Did you want to say something?
I just fired up a thumbs up to what Christopher had said there.
Thumbs up. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Vincent, I have a question. The number of words associated with ambition is much larger than the number of words associated with compassion, right?
Yeah, yes,
Does that
yes,
mean that there are many more astrological variables, midpoints,
yes,
whatever,
yes,
for ambition than there are for compassion?
yes.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to,
But there's something more to it.
yeah.
This is exactly what I meant. But we can go a step further and going into what we call in linguistic pragmatism, pragmatic
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah.
Maybe that difference in corpus in linguistic would reflect something about reality because astrology was made up of observation. Maybe it means also, I say maybe, that there are a lot more ambitious people than compassionate people. But this is speculative.
I was
Yeah.
just going to say, I think you hit upon the basic problem of humanity. You know,
I don't
there's
want
so
to
many
be.
ways we could all be greedy for power, fame, and fortune, and only a few ways that we can wind up compassionate.
Exactly. But this is
I.
one example, but there are obviously as many examples as words or thematics. So in my system, I got about 3,000 words for natal charts.
So, Vincent, I've had two burning questions for you over the past week, and I've just
Oh,
been too
I love to
busy,
be,
too busy to email.
I love to be burned as Joan of Arc.
Joan of
No, I'm
Arc.
burning. Not yet. I think you're going to be fine.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm just
Yeah.
putting the water.
So the one burning, yeah, these are my two burning questions. One is if you took the words for ambition or anything
Yeah.
and you fed them into you put them into Chat GPT or anything else, just because that's an easy way to do it. But um, and you asked it to group them into a smaller number of words. Um, do you think that's, and then you tested that smaller number of words? Do you think that could be interesting in determining what
I
a,
already do that,
yeah,
Santiago,
okay.
Determining what?
without Chat GPT. I do that since about 15 years. And the idea I had, which I think is one of the best idea I had in my life, was
Yes.
to tame a thesaurus, an analogical dictionary, to do astrology. So the connection between ambition, let's say, ambition, greed, work,
Yes.
goals, project. There is an analogy. It's not synonyms, but there is an analogy between these words. So I take that into account in my research and also
Yes.
in my interpretation. Is that what,
To
do I understand your question? Is that
No,
what
I'm
you
not
meant?
sure. I'm not sure if that addresses it enough. What I'm saying is, if you take all these words, project,
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
goals, whatever,
You make a cluster.
you could do a cluster analysis. Exactly what I'm
Yeah,
talking about. So if you
yeah.
do a cluster analysis, which because these things are LLMs, they work. They're great for clustering words. Um, you could
my
reduce the number of variable. Get dimension reduction. You could reduce the number of variables without reducing the effect sizes
Uh-huh. You
greatly.
need, yeah,
I
you
love
need
yeah.
that.
dimension
Yeah.
reduction in order to isolate
So
what's going on.
actually, even at the moment I take the one word, ambition, I already reduce because behind ambition, I got about 200 significators that I reduce to one word. I know you're familiar with that idea, but now you're telling me take ambition, a thematic, take ambition, goals, read, and cluster them. So that I agree with you. I tried
Yeah, if
it.
you cluster them,
Yeah, I tried
like
it.
Yes.
and the AI things are a handy way to do it. I mean, you can run your own clustering algorithm in any software, Python or R or whatever, but or MATLAB. But there's various ways of doing it. But what would be interesting is the clustering. Instead of having one word for the 200 things, you could have 10 words
Yeah,
that it clusters into. Then, if you
yeah.
use those 10 words instead of the 200, um,
Uh, oh, yeah. You mean okay, 10 words instead of using greed, success. But yeah, and it's
That's
maybe
hard
better
to come up.
for events also.
because in the clustering, it might come up with a word, one word out of, say, 10,
Yeah,
or
that
or
makes
even
sense.
come up with a new word.
Let's make an example. When I've done my 2020 research about the matching test that you're familiar with,
Yes.
um, I had to match biographical, psychographic, we call that, biographical words or psychological words in biographies with words in astrology one by one. So I had a very good, I,
Psychological.
I had very good results. You remember in the matching test. Then I tried to improve my significancy doing something like you said. I had a tool called semantic proximity estimator,
Yeah, I
and I
remember that.
just combined this tool work in with the thesaurus analogical and made clusters, and it improved my results by
Mm,
the magic of analogy. So it's
hmm.
close to what you said. And you know what? Kioski at that time was very seasoned with discussion and fighting with the skeptics, told me, please don't go there. They're going to use it against you. So I put it
Yes.
only in annex. In my, if you read my first research, that's the one we're matching test. If
Hmm.
you look at the annex, do we say that annex at the end?
The appendix.
Appendix.
Appendix. Excuse me, that was a
Appendix.
French word. Thank you,
Yes.
Christopher. If you look at the appendix number one, I just talk about that, but I was, and actually in the book, Jeffrey Dean companion book, Understanding Astrology, they use that
Hmm.
against me. Kayasi was right.
What the?
So,
Yeah, yeah, he was right. So you can always be like me and not care what anybody thinks. I just want to find out what works. So
yes, you're right.
um, yeah,
I
so
agree. I agree. I agree.
but the clustering, Because one of the things that's fascinating in your research, you get fantastic statistical results. You're finding something. I would like to better understand what it is you're finding. And it might be that by using a cluster analysis, we could see what what these characteristics are. Because the human mind, when it looks at 200 things, it's just lost. But a clustering analysis would say, okay, you've got a big cluster of um, aggressiveness. You know, you have a smaller cluster of sociability. So ambition might be have like components to it. Certain words, you know, work
Actually,
implies more
yeah.
effort than
Actually, what you're explaining
yeah.
is like a bit like factorial analysis for
Yes.
psychology. So
Hmm.
I'm reading again in characterology, and we're fascinated in psychology to find this type of
Exactly. It's a
thing.
very, very much the
Yeah,
same.
that's a
It's very
goal,
much the same as
fantastical.
factor analysis.
You're
So
right.
these things
So
like clustering,
I
they
don't know if I'm going to live long enough to do that.
yeah, I know, but it would
You're going to live 1,000 years.
Maybe,
Yes.
maybe, maybe. I already lived 1,000 years with
because I
reincarnation, but
want to
I'm not
better
sure. I'm not sure.
I want to better
Yes, you are.
understand why your formula works, and that's why the clustering would be interesting.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and then here's my
Of
second.
the 1,000 years, I said. Of the no,
Okay,
I
my
thought
my
so.
second question is
Oh, yeah, two burning questions. You're
two
dead
burning
now.
questions.
You're
So
dead.
I got an answer to that one. I'm happy with that. Um, we're going to make sure you live
Yes,
another 100 years and do this.
yes.
Um, my second question has to do with zodiac signs. Is when I went back because we were discussing Taurus, and I was, you know, Vincent and and I was,
Taurus.
and I went back and I Googled meaning of Taurus, and
Yeah,
I found
like
information.
Georgia Bush.
I found information from Chris Brennan and
Who's
really popular, well-respected astrologers. And it was even more extreme than I thought. The emphasis of Taurus with luxury and comfort is very,
yes.
very high.
Oh, yeah. That
So,
doesn't.
Oh,
but
the
but
um
in your lexicon, it appears
yes.
to me that the luxury and comfort is not as high as it is for some astrologers.
No,
I
I
mean,
agree.
I'm talking about I'm taking money by the money making Taurus. The person Taurus is the sign that if you are born on that Taurus, you can make money. But the like the space person, spaceman, or the space creature that came from Taurus or Alt Taurus is not what we can calculate about.
yeah. Let
Yeah.
me pick up with
But
what you're saying.
I'd
The
like to
idea
answer.
that Taurus makes money is the one that Iona goes for.
Uh,
Everybody has some slightly different definitions. By the way, an interesting thing about Taurus and why I talk about it is
that's
I have,
that's that's low level astrology. That's astrology for the
but what we
millions.
decide is low
I agree with you.
level.
In my model, luxury and money is a lot lower connected to Taurus. Depending, obviously, if you got a
Yeah.
Venus in Taurus conjunct Jupiter, it will increase that
Well, just
characteristic.
talking just about the
But in
Taurus
your
itself.
case, I know it's not, and it's
So
funny because
here's,
my wife, Vivian, is born the same date than you, not the same year,
yeah.
and she's like you. But you share certain characteristic, very specific of Taurus. You music lovers,
Yeah.
intuition of music,
Yeah.
nature lover,
There.
but she's not materialistic like you. She's not about money at all. So
I can find.
this is not a main characteristic of Taurus, obviously. So we agree on that.
Okay, but here's what I think is important because, Linda Berry is doing this research on meanings of the zodiac signs.
Yeah, I know.
And so, what would be interesting, and this gets back to the cluster analysis idea or factor analysis,
Mhm.
that kind of thing, is that right now, and so this is my burning question, right now, I don't know how to take your associations with the 12 zodiac signs and put that into like a short list of like 10 adjectives or a sentence or two. But if you did a
Yeah,
cluster
I understand.
analysis,
I understand.
we
Mhm.
could reduce it down because you often say that you base your research on standard astrology. But when I look at your research,
Mhm.
I see I believe that your theories are radically different from anything astrologers do. Astrologers do not use
But
binary
Santino,
on off.
as you
They
know,
do not, hold on, let me
yeah,
just
I
finish.
was
They
very
do not
influenced
use
by,
midpoints, so
yeah,
they
that's
do
what
not,
I'm going to
and I
say.
believe they're not using your
Yes,
meanings of the zodiac signs either because they don't seem to be the most
but
popular. And I
actually,
think your
what,
theory is
yeah,
working, but not because it confirms standard astrology.
yeah,
It's
you're right.
very much
You're
like
right.
mine. It's confirming some form of astrology that's different from what astrologers do.
But your astrology is more innovative than mine. I just climbed on a giant shoulder, which is Ebertine. So I was very influenced via a Robert Hand, who was a transmitter of
Diva
Ebertine
Chan.
in English.
Yes.
So and so I
Thank
was
you.
influenced a lot with midpoints, not the other one, not Alfred Bitter at all. You know why,
Yeah.
but Ebertine. Now
Diva Chan.
about what you said, um, the cluster. It's
I
the
would
problem.
like,
Oh no, no. Okay, the words. Okay, I got it. It's very difficult for me to give you basic words for sign because I don't work that way. I work my building blocks are not signs. They are planets in aspect in signs. So that's my building basic blocks. So if you
Yes.
wanted to, after the words and the blocks I use, deduce what I think about the sign, you would have to take all the factors implying Taurus, for instance, with all the aspects and make a regression to find the focus. It's
so your granular level, your fundamental data is
it's
each midpoint
Yes.
structures is simple. It's three planets in a midpoint structure.
both. I got two types of three factor. Midpoint is a three factor. Planet in sign in aspect is another factor, basic factor. This is basically what I use
So
in
Yes.
if
natal
I
somebody
can.
chart.
has Mars in Virgo,
Yes, like me.
trine Jupiter, I don't have Mars in Virgo, but if you have Mars in Virgo, it's trine Jupiter in Capricorn,
Yes.
your analysis will have words that are associated. You do not have words for Mars trine Jupiter, but you have two signs. How do you
I got
grab the
words,
word?
Santino, I've got words for Mars trine Jupiter in Evan because very often we don't use in transit the signs.
Let's say for
But
natal chart.
yeah, for natal chart, for instance, if I take, as you say, you, I just you said
Mars in Virgo, trine Jupiter in
Mars and
Capricorn.
Virgo trine Jupiter in Capricorn. Um, first thing to say, I
Yeah.
didn't have designed building blocks exactly like you said. I need two building blocks to describe what you said. I got Mars in Virgo trine Jupiter, and the other building block is Jupiter in Capricorn trine Mars. Why do I do that? Because if I combine, I would have 10, 12 times more factors. So
Okay,
it's what
but
has been
hold,
too
hold on.
huge.
Okay,
So it's what has been too
hold on.
huge. It's
Let me make sure I understand this.
you understand what
So
I mean?
let's break it down even more. So your computer program, because it's, it's a machine, it's just going to do something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to take the Mars and Virgo, trine Jupiter and Capricorn, and it's going to get a list of words for Mars and Virgo.
No, it's going
No.
to give a list of words for either Mars, Virgo, trine Jupiter, or Jupiter, Capricorn, trine Mars, and you can combine them. So you're going to have repeated words. For instance, Mars and Virgo, trine Jupiter would
Mars?
be energy, will, perseverance,
But hold on,
determination,
hold on.
decision.
That's not,
Mechanics.
but you just contradicted what you said your program does. So what the program is doing is it's taking, you have a set of words for Mars and Virgo making a trine to any planet.
Yes.
So your building blocks is that you see
Building
Mars
blocks.
and Jupiter trine something, and that's going to produce a list of words.
The
Mars and
Oh.
Jupiter. No, you need a sign all the time. It's always you.
That's what I said. Mars and Virgo
Oh,
making a trine.
yes, I say
Yeah.
actually it's more. To be honest, it's not a trine. It could be a sextile too. It's I read.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
so such a. It's harmonic aspect or dissonant.
Okay, so you have a Mars Jupiter in a soft aspect. You have an interpretation for that.
Yes,
So
and you
to
need
find your
one.
building blocks.
Santino,
Yeah,
you need one sign at either
Yes.
for one of the both planets. Either
So
for
the
Mars
number-
or for Jupiter.
the number of building blocks that you have is, if, let's say you have 10 planets, let's just use that number,
Okay.
in 12 signs, it's 120, and then you have 120 interpretations for Mars and Virgo making soft aspects, and then another 120 for Mars and Virgo making hard aspects.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I mean,
You can
roughly.
count- yeah, roughly you got 76 pairs times 12 for one side, one end. So already you have 900.
Yeah, but you're not doing a pair. You're just saying Mars and Virgo
times
making
three.
a trine.
Yeah.
No, harmonic. So you got three possibility: conjunction, harmonic, and dissonant. So the total would be 2,736.
Yeah, but why did you say 76 combinations? Because you're not doing pairs.
All the number of pairs.
But you're not doing pairs. You said you're doing Mars and Virgo making a trine.
I just calculate by taking a random pair, Mars, Jupiter, 76. If you include nodes and angles. So it's 76. But now you got to attribute to one end of those 76 pairs. You got to attribute one sign. Oh, it's multiplied. Is it multiplied by 2? Maybe Christopher could help us. It's times 12 because 12 signs, but maybe it's multiplied by 2 because I just attribute a sign to one end. So there's now I need to do it to the other end. So it's probably times 2.
Okay.
So you
So
have,
it's close to 5,000.
so your building blocks
Yes.
are, it's more than what you said, because first you said it was Mars and Virgo making a trine, but it's more specifically a pair of planets in a soft aspect
Yes.
and looking at least at one of the 12 possible
Yes.
signs.
Yes.
So you have 76 times the number of kinds of aspects. Let's say it's just 2 for now. 76 times 2 kinds of aspects, hard and soft.
Three kinds because conjunction is.
Okay, conjunction separate. So you have 76 times 3 aspects times 12 signs.
Times 2 because you 2 hands.
Right, times
Times
2.
So the final is 4,472.
But the number of lists of words that you have, like you have, this is where I get confused. You have a list of words for Taurus and Gemini.
I had it at the very beginning okay.
Or you
Let's say-
don't. You only have a list of,
Yeah, I don't have it in the system, but I used it. So
Okay.
when I designed it about 15 more than 15 years ago, I just gathered from 20, 25 authors 30 good books, according to me. All the words at that
Okay.
time,
Yeah.
it was
Let's
yeah,
let's
all the
let's.
words for signs
No, no, I
also.
got that. I know all that. But what I don't
Oh,
know is
okay.
what exactly is the program doing today? So, how many groups of words, you like a typical group of words might be 100 words or whatever. Like, how many groups of these words are there?
You mean a group of words being connected to one factor? What I call a
Yeah.
factor, what I call composite factor. No, in French we say factor.
How many,
Factor.
what I'm asking is, how many building blocks,
Excuse me, combined factors.
how many
The
building blocks?
5,472 for
Okay.
natal.
So you have 5,000 to 6,000
Yeah,
um,
yes, building blocks. Yes.
individual interpretations.
It's
So,
it's
or
dangerous. You say that. No, cluster sets of words. There's a different set of words for each factor, and obviously, when you do interpretation, you look intersection, semantic intersection between those sets,
Well, you're going to build on those building blocks. I'm
which
just
is
talking about
repeated
the,
message.
right. I'm just talking about the first level. The first level is you're going to get groups of words. You have 5,000 or so different groups of words.
Yes, yes,
And then the way you combine those words gets rather complicated. But you
yes,
start off with just 5,000 possible groups of words.
yes.
so
But
it's
it's plus the midpoints. So you should add to those factors all the midpoints you find in cosmobiology.
so we have, and I really appreciate Blake putting it there because that helped me make it realize, okay, what we're talking about here. So we have however many the count of planets plus ascendant midheaven,
Yes,
nodes,
yes,
midpoints, what have you. All of those, whatever list of the thing is on the left side of of the Excel table. Whatever
yes,
the
yes,
total number of that is.
yes, yes,
We multiply that by the number of categories of aspects. We have, hard aspects, easy aspects. Maybe you have a different thing for conjunction. Maybe you don't. I don't
yes,
know. And then we multiply that by the number of the things on the left side of that table, all the planets, all the points, all the midpoints. But we subtract one because you can't have one with itself unless we're talking about progressions or transits or something, in which case you can.
just keep it simple to natal for the moment.
Yeah. So that's um, whatever that number of planets plus other stuff is times 12 signs.
So
Uh,
finally, you come to that figure of
yeah.
5,472 planets in sign and aspect, and then you add the midpoint, which is 76. I think it's close to 3,000. I don't. Yeah, I think it's total under 10,000.
And we have like a list of words for each of
Yeah,
those
yeah, and I'd like to
yeah.
follow up with what you said, which is excellent. So your image is left column, all the factors, let's say 8,000 here, then here, the words. Then at the intersection, it's a 0 or a 1. If it's a 0, it means the word is not connected to the factor. If it's a 1, it means the word belongs to that factor. So that matrix tells the whole story. Everything is in that matrix. Number of words or number of columns, 3,000 of words. So 3,000 times close to 8,000 is the size of that incidence 0, 1 matrix. And the old story is there. My old system is only one matrix. Everything is inside
You
the
have
matrix.
8,000 astrological variables.
Yeah, more or less. It's,
And
yes.
each of those 8,000 astrological variables has a different group, a different subset of the how many words? 3,000?
3,000
Yeah,
natal words. Natal.
for natal.
Yeah.
So out of those 3,000 words, if somebody has Mars and Virgo trine Jupiter and Capricorn, that's going to there's going to be two factors evidently that are going to grab bunches of words, maybe 100 words out of those 3,000 that apply to it.
Yes. You mean one
So
factor could be connected to one between 100 and 200 words. Yes.
now I have another question for your midpoint structures.
Yes.
If you have Mars at Sun Moon midpoint, does that have the same words as Sun at Moon Mars and
Repeat
Mars
it,
at,
please. Repeat.
let's say I
Repeat
have a
what you said.
midpoint structure made of Sun, Moon, and Mars.
Oh, yeah. It's different from.
Does it matter which one is the focal planet?
Yes, but
So,
it's sometimes it's very close. It's very close to an interpretation you would give for a triple conjunction. So it's very subtle. The difference between A equal BC or B equal AC or C equal AB. But sometimes it's tremendously different. For
wow.
instance, yes, and the best case is Mars midpoint Mercury Neptune is a lot more meliorative or less pejorative than Neptune midpoint to Mercury Mars. Why?
Neptune.
Mercury Mars is sharpness of mind, the pair, critic, quickness, but Neptune just destroy it. But if you have Mars in the Bertine, Mars midpoint Mercury Neptune. Mercury Neptune is imagination. Mars is you make it happen.
Right.
And the main word that you find in everything for Mars midpoint Mercury Neptune, genius.
Hmm.
And you don't find it with the two other combinations, which
Right.
are bad, which are pejorative. So people say that Everton was a bit Neptunophobe.
Yeah, yeah.
Neptunophobe.
Yeah,
as
he
you know.
was in a way.
Yeah,
So,
as you know.
yeah, so in the case of the midpoints, Everton gives all these associations health and blah, blah, blah. So it was fairly easy to just take some key words out of his combination of stellar influences and associate those with the midpoint. That was like a starting point for your research?
Actually, that was a much big word than that, because if you look at the combination of stellar influences, you got words, substantive, as we say in French, common words, but you had also paraphrase, like phrase. And I had to deduce substantive from phrases. It took a much, much long time. That's crazy that now with AI, I could do that in 1 week, and it
Yeah.
took me 2 years.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'm still not completely clear about a few things, but I got the basic idea anyway.
Do you want to say something? Santino?
Yeah.
Okay. No. Not me.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, Vincent's research is really extraordinarily good. He's gotten some of the best statistical results of any research done. And I'm always trying to understand exactly what his research is and exactly how it works, because it's producing amazing results. Amazing results in that he'll build a model. In astrology, people are building models like crazy, and then they're getting great results with the model they build. Does not impress me very much. It's like Vincent's of the same opinion. You can build a regression formula to match
Yeah.
anything.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a model for everything, but they don't work. There's just something's going to fit.
It's only interpolation. It's not extrapolation.
Yeah, and it's not even statistically interesting because
Yes.
if
you're
you
right.
do the Bonferroni correction, there has to be zillions of things showing up. So,
Mhm.
But what Vincent's done that very few people do is he takes his data when he's a good boy more recently, and he splits it into two groups, builds the model, then he tests it with new data, and he's getting great results with the new data. To me, that's historic because I think a lot of
Thank you.
astrologers are fooling themselves because they're not. As soon as you step away from exploratory and you do a strict hypothesis test, in my 50 years of research, everything falls apart.
I agree. I agree.
It's like it's so unbelievable where I have so many times been almost certain that oh my God, this works. This model's amazing. Like it fits
Yes.
theory, everything. I collect the new data, gone.
It happened a lot of time to me. A
It's
lot more, yeah,
so
like you. Everything finally goes in the garbage.
it goes in the garbage and it's like it's really almost unbelievable. If it
Yes,
didn't happen to me, if a researcher told me well, how extreme it was,
yes,
I would think they're exaggerating. Like,
I
no, it
agree.
can't be that bad. It's unbelievable.
It's the reason why I said synchronicity is our worst enemy.
It
This is
is.
exactly about it. What you
Synchron
said.
I agree. See, Vincent and I 100% agree. Synchronicity is the death of astrology because everything we do has synchronicity involved. Every
Yes,
person, there's a reason why all of us are in this room. I don't know how many past lives we had together or whatever, but there's magnetism, drawing, creating everything in our world. Our whole mind is creating everything. So how do you know what is happening that you aren't creating? And it's really
yes.
hard. And what I found out is in my research is I'm creating things like crazy that aren't actually there. Um, and that's why I love the research. Synchronicity, psychic ability, premonitions, dreams that foretell the future, they're
Yes.
like obvious to me. I live with that every day. That's like, that's normal. Like, does anybody not live like that? So, but what fascinates me is there something that actually works independent of me? That's what I'm fascinated
Exactly.
by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a very. I'd like to just honor you for something, Santino. Before knowing you personally, 10 years ago, you were very famous. Remember, David Cochrane. uh, I know how intelligent you were, clever and everything, but I stayed far because I didn't know we shared this. And what you said in the last minute is we are very close. And I didn't know that. That's a big surprise for me. It's a gift. I'm so happy that
Yeah.
I discovered that complicity. I didn't know you were like that. I
Hmm.
thought you were more. How can I say that? Because you're many persons. I mean, you
Yeah.
can do a lot of things, but this part I didn't suspect it.
Yeah.
So I discovered this only since I'd say 2 years or 2 years. I didn't
Two
know that
years.
part of
Yes.
you.
For
Uh,
3 years.
Yeah. Well,
Excuse me.
thank you.
Excuse me. I'm too personal, but I wanted to share that.
No, thank you. Thank you very,
Yes.
very much. Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of different sides.
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
was afraid. I was a bit afraid of you.
a lot. And yeah, I also have other sides to myself that I don't normally talk about, some that are not so wonderful. Um I have problems with mental stability.
Yeah,
I
you
do
And
too.
said it. Yeah.
yeah, and it's not fun, by the way.
Hmm.
Um, but I have to like manage my life so that I don't go mad.
Probably meditating helps a lot. I
Yes.
suppose. I
Yeah, no,
suppose.
I have to exercise. I have to diet. I can't be
Yes.
even near marijuana smoke. Nothing.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
If I eat meat, I vomit. I go into whatever. It's
Oh yeah.
like hyper, and the
I know.
madness episodes are not fun. When you like lose connection and you don't know where you are, it's like really weird.
I'm a bit like that. So we should look at Christopher equanimity and model after him. But
Yeah.
I think you meditate a lot, Christopher.
Yeah, but my chart actually looks very similar to Santino's.
I know, I know.
It's except I don't have Uranus and Gemini, and I don't have all the Aries influence that Santino has.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I can be Sun and Gemini, but with Moon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Taurus rising, I can be more of a pure Taurus on the outside,
Hmm.
steady, easygoing.
Yes, that's. I thought you were Taurus before knowing you
Yeah,
were Gemini.
I'm sitting back in my leather ergonomic motorized reclining chair now. Taurus goes for comfort.
So
But
why am
you,
I not that way? Like, why? Because I have Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars in Taurus. I have six brothers and sisters. There's seven kids that grew up. And of the seven kids, I'm the only one who's essentially pretty much an ascetic. And I'm the second poorest of the seven. The three or four, they're very well off. Um,
Hmm.
and two of us are not like so good financially. And so all of these things that they say about Taurus, and the other thing that's interesting is none of the other six kids, well, I call them kids, we're all old now, um, have any inner planets in Taurus, which is hard to do statistically. But I think Maryland has like Mars in Taurus or something. Like almost no Taurus, and then I have all of it. And I'm the one who's the ascetic,
Hmm.
mystic,
Hmm.
trying to understand the mysteries of the universe and all this. So it's very fascinating. Like
Is there a
why
term for
is
that?
that?
Like the overreaction, like the counterphobic situation where somebody has like everything in Pisces and they're like a neurosurgeon. Because that's definitely a thing where someone will like my father-in-law has that where his chart is like he'll be the spiciest person ever and he's like the most hard as nails materialistic person ever where it like
Hmm.
bounces back
And he
because
has a lot of
that's
Pisces.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like I that's honestly made me wonder like what if we should be looking not for you know not so much for traits but for variability in traits um that like there should be a higher variance of
Yeah. It's going to
stuff
go to one
within this
extreme or the
population.
other. The
Yeah.
Taurus will be either an ascetic or, look into luxury. So, but not in
Well,
the middle.
I understand your reaction because you have four planets in Taurus. So
yeah,
you're, yeah, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury in Taurus, Santino.
but you
So
have
I understand that you say, "Wow, it doesn't work."
yeah, but
But
you
that's a
have
But
good.
actually,
You have Aries rising. You have your North Node in Aries in the first house,
no, yes, you're right. In
and
25
you
degrees.
and you have Mars, the ruler of Aries. It's in the first house. It is in Taurus, so to me that I see a person who initiates a lot of actions.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Uh, you know,
What
There's
does
my
about
not
the
chart if you want
but
to
but
see
but
yeah,
my
but
Christopher,
chart.
you're very
Christopher, I
persistent in it.
yeah, but I persist
You
saying that
persist. You have that.
there's a lot of characteristic Taurus characteristic in Santino. For
Yeah,
There
instance,
is.
and
your
My
son
tenacity is amazing.
exactly.
yeah,
That's you just
that's how it
steal my
expresses.
words. But
Yeah.
your appreciation of beauty, music, aesthetics, your
Yeah,
sweetness is very characteristic of a Sun conjunct Venus in Taurus.
and you have
Thank
your
you.
Love of
Mars.
nature. It's love of nature, generosity,
My love of nature is through the roof. My tenacity is through the roof. There's certain things that
a
are
lot of
described
yes.
about Taurus that are 100% correct. And
But you
then
need
there are
the aspects. But
some,
yeah,
for
but you need
some
the aspects.
reason, that are the opposite.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
got your
right.
chart ruler conjunct your north node. There you go.
yeah,
Like talk
exactly.
about reincarnation stuff. Boom.
With
Yeah,
And like that's your dispositor and
Yeah.
that's it like the 0 degree like Like it
I,
all
I
comes back to
agree. I
that.
agree. Shark rule
And
because of Mars. Yes. Hmm.
Mars is trine your Saturn, which rules your 10th house. So you're going to be honored for your both your energy and your discipline.
Yeah, there's a
And
Mars Saturn midheaven grand trine actually.
yeah, exactly. And with
But
as
yes, but
Benjamin, I think, was saying, with Mars uh, conjunct your North Node, that's really going to emphasize the action aspect quite a
now look
So
bit.
at
this
the
is
Christopher. Look at the combined factor. This Mars in Taurus, trine Saturn. Wow, that's
Yeah,
tenacity, firmness, energy, resistance,
discipline,
determination, will. This is very very high in your chart
and
because
and, and, and
as
you see that the
Benjamin
way.
said, your Mars is your dominant. Excuse me, Christopher. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
you see that the way you do, statistics, where you have clear, well-defined rules,
Yes.
clear structures.
yeah, so
This
this is
one's
how
not
we
that
build
way.
a model is you can take an example and I don't fit a lot of the Taurus. I fit some of the Taurus characteristics 100% and some not at all. Could it be like Benjamin says, there's a variability where sometimes it swings to the opposite? Or is it that we put too much emphasis on the sign and not enough of the ruler of the ascendant? So you can build a model where you put
I
more
think it's
emphasis
neither
on the
because
ruler of the ascendant.
I think it's neither. The priority are aspects. So the aspects that just make it make Taurus work. So you don't have any planet in aspect that goes in luxury, money, but it just emphasizes other characteristic of Taurus. It's very clear when you look at tenacity and obstinacy. That's very, very high. And
Yeah.
your as you said, no, you're right. As you said, your Mars. You know what is your co-dominant? The second dominant in your chart in my system, the research I made with
Yes,
that I published. It's Neptune.
Neptune.
Neptune because Neptune. Two rules. Neptune is connected to many standard aspects, like Mars. You got a lot of aspect to Mars. Neptune has got opposite ascendant. He's got trine Mercury. He's got sextile, etc., etc. And also, it's connected to the connection, Ptolemaic connection between the planet and moon is one very important factor because it's elusive. I mean, it goes fast. It's quick. Moon moves fast. So your Neptune trine moon, which is your mysticism, your spirituality, your intuition, your sensitiveness, your moon Gemini trine Neptune, and your Neptune is also
Neptune.
opposite ascendant, which is very very elusive. I mean, it's
Oh,
very what's the word? Ephemeral. It goes fast.
Yeah.
Neptune
okay.
opposite ascendant is very important in your chart.
Yes, that's opposite ascendant.
Uh,
Dragonhead.
is Neptune is opposite his ascendant? Yes.
Yes. I'm
Two
sorry.
degrees, two
Go
degrees
on.
orb. So this is Neptune is very important in your chart. So this is why you are so at the same time very scientific and very
Yes.
mystic. I would
Okay.
find something like in Christopher also. I think Christopher is a bit like you. You're similar on that too.
Yes.
I never look at your chart deeply, but I think we would find something similar, Christopher, in your chart.
Yeah, I think when we
Here's Christopher's chart.
and your Venus is conjunct my Mercury.
Oh,
That's the most important thing. You'll be nice to me.
What?
My
Okay.
Venus is a very tightly conjunct Christopher's Mercury. So
Yes.
this is Christopher's chart. His moon is
Yeah.
conjunct my Mercury, 1 degree.
Oh, okay. There we go. But I think when we say something like, you know, Taurus likes to eat a lot of food, or Taurus is very concerned about money,
So,
to
yes.
me, those are just two of several different ways in which Taurus can manifest itself.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's what Taurus really is it's something else. which can then manifest in a whole variety of ways. And the ways in which it most commonly
Um,
manifests might change with time, with culture,
Hmm.
this is
etc.
good.
But I think with every sign, there's a deeper understanding of what the sign means, and we're trying to get to that deeper understanding
Yes, I
rather than
did. I
those
learned this.
manifestations on the periphery.
I think
Yes.
I think also, Santino, I also have a Mars conjunct North Node, and like the and that basically owns my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Especially when it comes to the astrology stuff, like the
Right.
constant drive to find that out at all. And it's not that I necessarily want to be doing this all the time. It's just like I can't not. My mind constantly comes back to this, and I
Right.
need to be doing it. And like, yeah. And sorry, just we were talking about Christopher's
Hmm.
chart, but like the tension and the energy, it reminded me of like a professional football player's kickoff kick.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw your chart, I don't know why, but
Yeah. So what
like
I
but
had
I
done about 10 years ago was I
differences.
went through the database and I had the software pull out the people that had the most Aries and Taurus. I gave 5 points to Sun, Moon, Ascendant, and ruler of the Ascendant,
Hmm.
three to Mercury, Venus, Mars, two to Jupiter and Saturn, and one to Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And then it came up with a list, and I saw who the super Aries person is, the super Taurus, read their biographies, and the idea is that if you are the biggest Gemini out of 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 people, you should exhibit some Gemini qualities.
Sure.
yeah
Um, and based on what they had in common, I came up with meanings of the signs. Um, and some of them are, most of them have, they all have some similarity to the usual meanings, but they
Yeah.
also have some striking differences as
Yeah.
well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
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 Is that what your Linda's going to talk about in her lecture?
At the
Me?
conference?
Yeah.
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 Oh no, no, no. This is old stuff for me. This is something I developed
Oh,
over
okay.
10
Okay. Okay.
years
Okay.
ago.
Oh. Oh.
And
Oh.
it's
So what's the Taurus stuff? What does it mean?
Taurus, well, I got it in the title, the Tao unfolding from within. So my understanding of astrology is that everything represents a force, and the forces operate in a higher dimensional realm, so they're sometimes difficult to verbalize. But Taurus is like Taoism. It's a sense that things need to unfold. They like a plant. That's why Taurus loves
Yes.
plants. It's a process of expecting life to grow from within, like a
Yes.
plant planted in the
To
earth
like
and it
follow the path?
unfolds. It's a sense of like the Tao. Like I like to say, all Taurists are Taoists, even if they don't know it. They have
What? Oh, Taoist.
Tao, the
Yeah.
religion,
Okay.
Taoism.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
so for example, one of the worst things for people with Taurus is if somebody with a lot of Taurus, like me and Christopher, is watching a movie, right? And then somebody comes in, they start talking, and you lose part of the movie. Taurus is like, this is insane. This is like, you're crazy. Because what Taurus does is it gets into a natural flow. And when you're in the flow of watching the movie and this person did that, and then you're watching, it's taking you on a ride. So Taurus lives to be on this
You
unfolding
know,
ride.
it's unbelievable what you're. This is one of the most beautiful synchronicity in my life. My wife, Vivian, she's one of May,
Yes.
like you, Taurus, and we have a terrible, terrible. It's very intimate what I tell you to my friends here. A big, 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 big fight about that because I'm a Scorpio. I lose a bit of my,
You're Scorpio.
with aging. my focus is not as good. I've got much more trouble to understand and recognize the faces. My memory of faces is not as good. So I got
Yeah,
the
Virgo
click,
is good.
and I stopped the movie maybe five
Oh,
or
I'm sorry.
six times. So we were watching the Four Daughters of Dr. Marsh. At one moment, they are at the opera, and they have this famous duet, one of my favorite in Fisherman, the Pearl Fishers, the man
Oh,
and with
Fisher.
Layla, and they sing it, make you cry.
Okay.
And I said, oh, I sang as in
I'm
that
fond.
opera as a chorus. So I said, oh, and I stopped. And Vivian was brutal, and she was fed up of me stopping all the time.
There you
And we
go.
had a very, very big fight about that. She will love you.
Yeah, that's Taurus. Taurus has this sense of
Taurus.
getting in the flow. It lives to be in the natural flow. That's why it specifically loves plants, forests. Its connection with nature is built on that. But the Taurus actually has nothing to do, according to this research and my theory, has nothing to do with
You got one.
opulence.
You got a
It,
marvelous case with Vivian. She's like exactly like you said.
yeah,
Who's
And we
Vivian?
had a big fight because my mind is very Mercury analytic, and I was looking, stop and look at ChatGPT. Who's that actor? And what the movie's done? Okay, okay. Now blah, blah, blah. My mind is very nervous, so
yeah.
she's fed up of me doing that.
And that's where the idea of the
Ooh.
steadiness, also the stubbornness. What happens with Taurus is you could say to somebody with a lot of Taurus, let's go on vacation to Arizona or whatever. And they'll say, no, 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 it's not. I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I don't want to do that. And then 3 weeks later, they'll say, okay, let's go to Arizona. And you say, like, I tried to get you to go for what's going on? Because they don't work by mind, they work by instinct. If it feels right, they do it. If it doesn't feel right,
You mean the Taurus?
the Taurus.
Yeah. Okay.
Taurus, that's why they're so called stubborn, because they're waiting for the moment when it feels right and there's no logical
Oh, yes,
explanation.
yes,
So people
yes.
say, why are you so stubborn? And they're thinking, well, I don't know, I'm not that stubborn because it works by instinct, by it doesn't feel it's not in the flow, not a psychic instinct. It's a sense of like natural organic flow.
Hmm.
Like if I'm so busy and I'm trying to deal with all the stuff, how could I go on vacation? It's like it's not in the flow.
Yeah.
What you say is not only about you. You observe that on different people with many planets
Yeah, no,
fell in the
when
Taurus.
I don't like to look at my chart because it biases things too much.
Yeah,
I
and
look
me
at these
too.
famous people. Also, I interviewed thousands of
Okay.
people in the 70s
Yeah.
to see what they were like.
Okay.
And yeah, an interesting thing with me was that when I was in college, about 19 years old, I don't know why, I just got this idea. I hadn't started studying astrology yet. It started when I was 22. I got this idea to read the Tao Te Ching every day on my birthday. It's a very
Hmm.
short thing. I don't always read all 81 of them, but I read at least 12. Um, so, but isn't that weird? Like, that's an amazing, when a person's in tune with their chart, they will be so much the way the chart, which meant I must be really in tune with my Taurus because of that natural behavior.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's in the books. Oh, you wanted to say something, Christopher?
Oh, I was going to say that I sometimes describe my Taurus characteristics as being like a sheet of lead. You can bend that lead into any shape you want, but once you put it into some shape, it will just stay there on its own
Yeah.
till
There's
something
some.
comes along
Hmm.
and tells it it should be in a different shape. But I tend to, with all the signs, I tend to go back to just some of the basics. I think of cardinal signs as initiating things,
Yes, and fixed
but then the
times.
fixed signs as preserving things.
There's something
And in that
else.
respect, I see Taurus as, wanting to, once it's on a course of action, it just wants to stay with that, preserve it, keep it going. and then the mutable signs assess things and make the changes necessary. But again, with so much with the Aries rising and the North Node in Aries conjunct Mars, it's uh, I can see both the Taurus and Gemini similarities between ourselves, but then you have
Mhm.
the Aries part, which makes you more
Yeah.
likely to initiate things
I'd like to come back to
than I
another
would.
aspect of Taurus that we didn't think about, we didn't talk about. It's not specifically in the books, but it could be deduced. And
Yeah.
I observed it. I had a lot of Taurus in my life. It's, I'm Scorpio and I attract, and I'm attracted and I attract Taurus. So my love, the lady I love, and my collaborators, and a lot of persons. For instance, a guy which when I built a log cabin in very far north in Quebec. He was a trapper. He was a Taurus.
Hmm.
And what I noticed, I don't know how to put it. If you got a work to be done, project, probably because Taurus love long persistence, long, he's big worker, will always never choose the easy, clever way. He will choose the hard way, complicated way to make it as long as possible. I
Right.
give you an example. My
Yes.
friend, when we built the house, we had chainsaw, and he said, "Oh, that's stupid. My dream would be to build it only with axe,
You're scary.
the old
You
way."
have
And
scary
every
mentality.
Taurus I
Yeah.
knew were like that. In
Yeah. Don't change
mathematics,
to the new
not
way.
the easy way, the long
I'm
way, the
sorry.
long solution, not the easy path or the
I
quick
think it's a
path.
matter of just not changing.
No,
Also,
you're
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It's also routine. It's a mix of both.
But I
you
think
Agree.
grow.
Taurus, like, cardinal signs like Aries, as I say, they initiate things, but Taurus, Taurian people are good support people.
Yes.
Whatever Aries has started, Taurus will help preserve and build upon,
Yes.
and
There's
then Gemini will analyze the results.
Reliability also is.
let me tell you how I would describe that using the axe versus the chainsaw is for Taurus, which one gets you in the mood, in the zone
As you
of
said
being
about
in
the
the
movie,
woods,
yeah,
having
you're
this
right.
thing,
That's
or
yes, yes. It yes,
which
both,
one
both,
which
both,
one
both are
gets
good.
your
Yeah,
whole body immersed into the feeling of being in nature. You're
that's
swinging
what he.
Yeah,
that axe,
Yeah, you're right. That's what he said. That's exactly
that's
what he
what he said,
said.
because
Oh
that's what
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Taurus is. It's not that Taurus necessarily wants to do it the long way. He wants to do it the way that feels like you're in the zone and is more natural and unfolding. And the axe is much more unfolding. I've used
yeah,
axes a lot, which is interesting coincidence. No, I'm serious. When I moved to North Carolina,
Uh-huh.
it's a very the house, and I'm
I'm
moving back
having
in a few
no.
months. I can't wait to move back. My house is on this big hill, and I wanted to have like a little fireplace thing out, fire pit. So every day I went out for 1 hour with the axe and leveled this big hill, and I got it leveled and then put down these. It's really nice, but I'm in nature. I can feel the air. I can smell the trees, and I'm just like in this like sacred, holy, natural
Hmm.
world.
That's very Taurus. Yes,
yeah.
it
And
is.
that,
I
yeah,
did something similar. When I was much younger, I used to split logs, and I had this big iron wedge that
yeah.
you would put in the log, and you hit it over and over with a sledgehammer, and I enjoyed the process.
The process. Taurus
What
is
is it?
Yeah,
interested in the
I
process.
would repeat that
What
process.
is a
I would enjoy
excuse me?
that
What is a
process.
sledgehammer? What is a sledgehammer? I don't understand.
Oh, it's a big heavy hammer. It has long handle, a big iron head on it. It's like they worked with on the railroads,
Okay,
driving the spikes into the railroad.
okay.
This thing.
Yeah.
It's actually more like it's like an axe, but instead of being an axe, it's a
Yeah,
hammer
yeah,
thing on
yeah.
the end. They can have
Yeah.
shorter ones too that they can
Oh,
be different lengths.
thank you, thank you. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I just seen that yesterday in a movie, one of the best movie I watched in my whole life for a Taurus. That's a Taurus movie. It's Train Dreams. You don't know? It's on Netflix. It's a
Hmm.
What
masterpiece. It's a
what's the
masterpiece.
name of it?
Train Dreams, and they built train. The guy is work.
Oh, Train Dreams.
Yeah, you just cut the trees and everything, but it's so
Yeah.
deep. It's a simple, close to nature, very, very slow, and
Yeah.
extremely metaphysical without being. It's very simple. A
Right.
simple person. That's an extraordinary movie.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
recommend
Well,
it
yeah,
deeply.
we're on nearly 2 hours. So,
Yes.
um,
Wow.
yeah. Any last things? I wanted to go over Blake's research more. We got carried into this other stuff, but he's building a model that's this. It's very impressive in terms of the statistical results. And in the process, he's been running different kinds of software. He's doing some stuff in Python, using different AI
Oh
tools,
wow.
and he's
Oh,
stumbling into all kinds of things like ROC curves. I haven't used those in a long time, and all kinds of cool things. And at some point, he's also in my YouTube members meeting. We talk about it there possibly. It'll be nice to talk about his research. How good is it right now? Where should he go next with it? But he's building a very impressive model of what's in the charts of rapists. I don't know how impressive it is. All I know is I can see the data, I can see how much work he's doing. And um, at a minimum, the model looks good. I don't know if it's going
mm-hmm.
to hold up with new data or not, but it's really great to see people dive
What
in and do all the hard work that's necessary to do this stuff.
what kind of factors does
Well,
he
you're not
put
going to
in?
like it. He's using Uranian astrology. He's using Uranian planets and midpoint structures.
Oh, oh.
Um, and
Sensitive points, complex midpoints, trans-Neptunian planets.
Uh, it, a simple
I'm
question.
programming it at the
It,
same time
in your question,
also
are
as I'm
the
teaching myself
if you remove the
statistics. So
trans, excuse me, if you remove the trans Neptunian planet, would it work? Would
no, there'd be
your
nothing
model still
left.
work?
there'd be nothing
No.
left. It's like 80%
Oh,
trans-Neptunian.
okay, 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 okay.
Mhm.
Good luck with your application.
Well, I've
I'm
already done
also
a
very
hypothesis
skeptical
test.
of the
And
trans-Neptunians, but
I had
anything's
with the
possible.
16 cases I had 80% power and I got a good p-value. So I mean, I've already done my hypothesis test
Mhm.
on a set amount of formulas.
is there
And
a way
now
you can get at least 100 cases?
I don't know how many are left in the database.
Yeah, maybe I think you need more data to be and to make sure.
You need to
But
advertise
Hopefully,
more
I've been.
people.
Excuse me.
hopefully
What did
there's
you say?
enough left that I
What
can
did
run
you
another
say?
test,
I miss what Christopher said. I understand.
So let me ask one question, Blake, before we end. You started with 5 charts, you did 5 more, so you had a total of 10. Then you got
Yeah,
16 more. When you did the new 16, did you test the formula from the first 10
Mhm.
just on the 16 by themselves without including the 10?
I had never even seen the 16 when I had the formula set.
So
So
that was what
complete,
we call a strict hypothesis test. You took the model you built with the first 10. You had
yeah,
never seen these 16 people. It was new data that you knew to you. And you applied the formula as is, and you got incredibly good result. I think amazing. I mean, his effect sizes are huge. And
Wow.
I think he got statistical significance with 16 charts, which means the effect size was through the roof.
Sure.
Um, but you did, it was Well, therefore, it was actually a strict hypothesis test. You took your formula, you didn't change it, modify
Nope.
it, you
Nope.
applied it to the 16 new charts, and it's incredibly good.
Is it a question or you know that what you're telling is true? Are you asking him or you know that?
No, I'm asking him, and he said, yes, it's true.
Okay, I missed it. The answer.
Yeah.
Okay,
And now I'm
Uh,
trying to build a better model.
okay. But
yeah.
if you modify the model, you will have to find other data to
I will have to find like
confirm your
another
finding.
50 charts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But what you can do, if you get another, say, 15 charts, you can test your original model and a modified model.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, I see the time. I gotta
yeah.
go.
Yeah, it's really late. Thank you, everybody. I think we should close up and
Yeah.
Yeah,
hope to
thank you,
see
thank you.
you next month.
Yeah,
Okay.
See you guys.
Thank you all for coming. Okay, bye now.
bye bye.
Bye.